I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to start off this video, so I'm just gonna say I just had some incredible homemade mac and cheese. I think it was pretty good. I have no idea how else to say it. Well, I guess that's the intro. Time for my thoughts on the Last of Us series. I'm just gonna say right now, this is a spoiler-free video. I'm not gonna be talking about the game mainly because I didn't know anything about the game. I'm also not gonna be talking about spoiling big events of the show. Just so this is still watchable for the masses if you have not seen The Last of Us. If you have, it's gonna be a little vague in a couple of spots, just because I don't want to spoil anything. If the demand is there, I can do a separate video of getting in detail, talking more specifically about what I liked from the show, and honestly what I didn't in a couple of areas. So yeah, as I said earlier, I really don't know a lot about the first game. I knew the basics of the main characters and who they were, but outside of that, I didn't know any events in the first game. The only event I knew in the series as a whole is the big thing in the second one, which is at the very beginning. Again, not spoiling it because I haven't played it. A lot of people have played it, but I still don't want to spoil it for the sake of only knowing the show, which is myself. Also, what I did after every episode was I looked into, looked up online. It was like the big changes from the game to the show, and there is also a lot of changes from there. So I could safely say that the show is a very different experience from the game, and I do like that in a video game adaptation, where there is enough there to satisfy the original fans of the game, while also there being new content to enrich the world of the show. And I really like it when game adaptations do that, and I think it's a good blueprint moving forward for future adaptations of video games. But the show itself, though, how did I feel about the show itself, watching it from week to week? There was a part where I binged some episodes, because I just got busy and I binged maybe the second half of the show just because I had a lot going on. How do I feel about that? Honestly, this was a pretty damn good experience, and it is a damn good piece of television. Of course, this is a zombie show. I couldn't really avoid that, but I do like that every episode doesn't have an encounter with the infected. Well, technically it is a zombie show, but they're called infected in this. And they don't have the infected in every episode, so whenever they come around, they're a threat. I like that choice a lot. I just do. And it really worked for the show to raise tension so that they could be around every corner. It didn't go down the Walking Dead route where they're just kind of there now. And I really like that. I think the season as a whole also has a nice structure where like in terms of episode count and order, even like the couple standalone episodes that are here not only are great stories in themselves, but enriching the world and enriching the characters, mainly the two main characters you see throughout the entire show. And that's where I'm going to go to Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey playing Joel and Ellie. They kill it in this. Pascal and Ramsey both kill it in this show. Of course, we knew that about Pedro Pascal. He's been on the come up. I'm very glad that this role is the big time he blew up with this role, and I'm very happy about that. And granted, it now since the new season of Mandalorian is going, it's very weird to watch that and go, Joel, what are you doing here? So I think about that now every time I see it, and it's very funny. Honestly, Bella Ramsey, just goddamn, they fucking killed it in this entire show. I've seen that this Ellie is different than the game Ellie in the way of this Ellie in the show is a little more snarkier, and quite frankly I like that change. It's a different Ellie and a different Joel. They have a different dynamic, and I really like that pick here. But yeah, no, if I had to pick any actor that was in this show that really stood out to me the most, it has to be Bella Ramsey. I mean, really, everyone killed it in this show. Literally every single person, every actor that they hired for this did a great job. They came to play, and they really showed out. Everyone did. I put down a couple names here that I really enjoyed. I just need to shout out, even though everybody did great. Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett as Bill and Frank. What a heartbreaking episode. It's very different from the game, but it really works for this show. And honestly, both Offerman and Bartlett should get awards consideration for this for their episode. Lamar Johnson and Kevon Montreal Woodard, they played Henry and Sam in their episode. Also did a fantastic job. Lamar Johnson was probably actually, I will say the episode with Henry and Sam probably is my favorite episode out of the bunch. I adored that episode. I think it was episode 5. I think that's what it was. I adored them in this. Even though they weren't my favorite performances out of the whole bunch, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, the original Joel and Ellie from the games, they came back in different roles. Troy Baker played a cannibal named David, or like a Christian cannibal or something. I don't know the exact lore for it. And Ashley Johnson played Ellie's mother, Anna, in this. And that's just a great full circle moment for those characters and Ashley Johnson as a career. It's really fantastic. The visuals here, the money, the HBO shows always get a lot of money put into them, especially ones on this scale. Like this was the channel that Game of Thrones aired on. Of course, this was going to get a lot of money. And of course, there was a screw up where you could see a set or part of a set in an episode, which I never saw because that was in an episode I binged and it was edited out. But other than that little flub, this looked gorgeous. There were some things where I thought, just wow, that's not CGI. Like a lot of the backdrops in this are CG, and they look just gorgeous in here. And also, I want to shout out the makeup and prosthetic department for the infected, because apparently all of that was real. There's one part in, I think it's either 5 or 4, I'm not entirely sure, where there's this big hulking infected guy. What just happened? Anyways, there's this big hulking guy, and like the infected guy, and it's all makeup. I don't know if I can put up a picture here because I don't know how to edit that well, but this is like you should find the set photos of this guy. He looked crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna end it right there because I don't want to get into spoilers. But overall, just the Last of Us was just really, really good. It is a set of good television and just really knocked it out of the park. Season 2 is on the way. It got confirmed very early when the season was airing, like maybe after the 2nd episode. And so season 2's on the way. And I'm very excited to see what they got in store, especially with knowing the one event that happens in part 2 that I'm pretty sure they are going to pull off, but I wonder how audiences that are avoiding the second game or just don't know what's going to happen with that. And I'm very curious to see how they pull that off. Although I think Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, the writers and co-creators of this show, I think they can pull it off. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I feel very confident that Season 2 is going to knock it out of the park because Season 1 just also did, and I'm very excited to see what they got. So that was my thoughts on The Last of Us Season 1. I'm going to ask you a quick question. What is a video game you would like to see get adapted into a movie or a show? Because we also have the Mario movie coming out in a couple weeks, which I will be seeing. I'm seeing it. I already got my plans in place for it. So tell me what your favorite video game adaptation is. It doesn't have to be the highest quality or anything. Just which one do you enjoy the most? So I'm going to ask you that. I'm going to leave you right there. Subscribe if you haven't liked the video, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.